Space Buddies is a Disney Buddies film from 2009. This is directed by Robert Vince, is written by Vince and Anna McRobert. And we have a voice cast including Skyler Gisondo, Field Cate, Liliana Mumy, Henry Hodges, John Flitter, Amy Sedaris, and Jason Earles. Earles voices a bull terrier called Spudnick, and I absolutely loved him, largely because I really like bull terriers. I will admit I didn't love this one. It's not my favourite Buddies film. But I'd say for the most part, that's a personal preference thing. The narrative flows well, the characters are interesting, the technical aspects, visuals, sound effects, music, everything is absolutely fine. I just didn't really care that much for the narrative. There is a class field trip to Vision Enterprises, and the dogs kind of go along to see this test launch. And I won't say how it happens, but one thing leads to another. And they end up going on board this shuttle, and they might end up being sent into space. And I'll say no more than that. I think the main reason I didn't care for it that much is because I don't really like sci-fi. Well, I suppose it's not sci-fi. Well, it is. It's science and it's fiction, but I guess it could happen like this. But I don't really like space-based stories. There are exceptions. I'm not completely against them. But in general, it's just not a kind of story towards which I would gravitate. But as I said, the narrative works well. It was maybe a little slow to begin with. It definitely took a little time to get to anywhere even remotely interesting. But I'd say once the main narrative started to happen, it became a little bit more interesting. But in terms of personal preference, it still isn't one that I particularly loved. But nevertheless, the story works well. The characters are certainly very likeable. The usual dogs from the Buddies films, absolutely adorable. And then we also have a ferret called Gravity. And as I said, we have Spudnick, the bull terrier, who I rather enjoyed. The voice acting is very good. The dogs do have some absolutely adorable costumes, which definitely worked quite well. So visually, really great. The narrative works well. It was a little slow to begin with, but once it got going, the pacing was significantly better. That being said, based on personal preferences, I didn't absolutely love it. But if you're into space-based stories and you're a fan of the Buddies films in general, then actually you might enjoy it a little bit more than I did. I don't regret the time I spent watching it, but I wouldn't watch it again. I imagine it's my least favourite Buddies film so far. I still have a couple left to watch. Not too many, but enough. And I'm looking forward to watching them. This one definitely wasn't a personal favourite, but nevertheless, there are some positive things about Space Buddies, and I definitely didn't mind watching it.